When Robert Redford created the Sundance Institute, one of his main goals was to run labs for budding directors and writers so they could learn from people in the business. This coming weekend, on August 6th, Sundance will hold its first comedy lab ever, a shorts comedy lab in L.A. Here to talk about the value of short films are three people participating in the lab: filmmaker Miguel Arteta, director of Cedar Rapids; Bob Goldthwait, the comic-turned-filmmaker of movies like World's Greatest Dad; and Trevor Groth, the Sundance Film Festival's director of programming. Groth put in more than 16 years as a programmer for the film festival, which means he's watched a lot of movies. The business producer, Darby Maloney, asked him how many short films he's seen over those many years.
It's in the tens of thousands for sure. And there are pitfalls that, filmmakers can get into. And it's amazing how many shorts we see come in that were inspired by something, but they just become a regurgitation of something. And that's okay for filmmakers to, practice their skill and to try to create something that they've seen, that they love, that has inspired them. But I wouldn't bother submitting that to the festival because that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for some originality in these films. And now, thanks to some, internet sensations, we scour the internet looking for talent to invite to the festival because, the reputation of Sundance, I think, in general, is that we'll show serious films with dark themes and all of that, and we do have that in the festival, but we've also broken a lot of great comedic talent over the years, but that's not necessarily the place that people think of to send their comedy shorts.
Now, Bobcat, what would you say are some of the things that you've noticed either when you've been behind the camera or when you've been watching a comedy short that, you feel, that they nailed it?
Well, I guess, it's like what Trevor was saying. It's always when it's something that's fresh or a new take on something. But I do think it's kind of hard for someone to sit down and go, I'm going to be original. So, the advantage of a short is that you can create a short without the same amount of money and resources that you need to make a feature. So I like making shorts because when I have an idea, I can just bring it to life really fast and then just move on. So,
Miguel, are you also a short filmmaker?
Yeah, I did a short that played at Sundance in 2005, after I've been there with 3 films. I don't do them as often as I should. I was going to say that all smart people make shorts, and I realize I'm not in that category as often as I'd like to be. It's the best way to practice your art because there's so much writing on a feature film. You can't relax and really trust your voice as easily,
I kind of feel like there are tons of people who have great ideas for short films, but not everybody actually follows through to do it.
I tell everybody that tells me how should I get into making movies to say, just make one short every month for the next year and come back and talk to me a year from now.
And Miguel, if I'm not mistaken, Ruben Fleischer, who actually is a director who's made Zombieland and has a new film coming out, 30 Minutes or Less, wasn't he one of those people that you told that to?
Yeah, he's the only guy that's ever done it.
Oh, really?
He was like, I'm not really a writer. And I was like, it doesn't matter. Shoot a video of your dog with music. And a year later, he showed me 12 movies, one which was a video of his Dalmatian to music. Do any of you guys have a short in your mind that you feel like, that stayed with me?
I have a short that I made for Mike Plant. He has a thing where he takes a filmmaker to lunch, and then you have to make a movie for as much as the lunch costs. And so I did a short where I did DVD commentary to my home movies when I was a kid, and it's implied that actors played us like we weren't real children. That, like the dog would walk by and go, that's Kenny Baker. He also played R2-D2. Boy, he hated that suit. and my dad, who was the cameraman, I said was Abraham Zapruder because all the footage was, really jostled around. I said, he did the Kennedy assassination too. But so that thing just kind of took off and had its own life.
Actually, Spike Jonze made a short film that we showed a long time before he'd made a feature called How They Get There. He'd had this notion of like when you're just driving down the road or the freeway and you see a single shoe on the side of the road, and he made this, probably like a 2-minute film about how those shoes get there, and it's great. It's a perfect little short film, and that's what we want to sort of convey to people, that it doesn't have to be a huge complex idea. It can be a very simple idea, but if you find the humor in it and the way of telling it right, it can be powerful and be very lasting.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
To find out how to get tickets to the August 6th Sundance Shorts Comedy Lab in Los Angeles and to see some of the short films we've talked about, go to kcrw.org/thebusiness.